is what I made. This is just a rice anyway. It's really easy, guys. Yeah, very, very easy. I don't know if you can see the steam coming out. Is it looking yummy? So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Yeah, and I will see you in my next video. These are all the ingredients that I am going to be using for this stew. I have here some grass-fed goat meat, and I'm going to blend some ginger, pepper and onions together, and I will add about 2 teaspoons, but you can add how much you want. But let me remind you, this is very, very hot, so just add how much you can handle. So I'm gonna add some salt, then some rosemary, some chopped onions, and I'm using stock powder. This is vegetable stock powder, but you can use stock cube that you like. I'm not going to add any water because I'm using a pressure cooker, but if you're using a normal stock pot, then you might need to add some water along the way, and then just cook everything until it's nice and tender. This is the main ingredient, the tomatoes. So I wash them and then I chop them into chunky pieces and pretty much just blend them. I also actually added some tin tomatoes. So now we are gonna boil the tomatoes, but you see the foam looking like thing that is rising at the top? It's gonna want to overflow and onto your cooker, so don't cover it yet until much of it has disappeared. Now that our meat is ready, we are going to separate the meat from the stock. Now with the stock, there's gonna be a lot of fat in it, which we do not need. So we are going to let it cool down a little bit, and then we'll put it in the fridge. This way the fat is going to float to the top and it will become solid like this, and it will be easier for us to remove it and get rid of it. Now we are going to start preparing other things. This is the tomato puree, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of water until it's looking a little bit like this. We are going to dice the onions and to also finely chop our rosemary. The rosemary is going to give a nice flavor and also scent to our stew. So now that everything is ready, we are going to go ahead and fry our meat, and I'm going to be using a little bit of coconut oil for this, but you can also roast the meat in the oven if you prefer. Just allow the oil to heat up and then add the meat to it, and then fry it until it's nice and brown like this. When it's ready, remove the meat from the pot and then add more coconut oil to this. Allow the oil to heat up and then add some onions and then fry them until it's nice and soft like this. Then add the ginger, pepper and onion puree we add in our stock earlier, and then fry it too for about a minute or so. And then add some tomato puree and fry this as well for about 2 minutes. So once that is done, we're gonna add our rosemary, and our tomato is now ready, so we're going to add that to the pot as well. everything together and allow it to cook for about 10 minutes. And now we are going to put flavor into our stew. So here we have the stock, and like I showed you before, the fat has now become solid. So now we're gonna get rid of that and then add all the stock to the stew, and then add some stock powder or cube. After you've added everything, you can now just give it a taste and see if you need any more salt. When the stew is almost ready, you will find that the oil starts to separate from the stew and then float to the top. Now at this stage, usually I go in with my fried meat, but if your meat is not as tender, then you could actually add it a bit earlier, like when you were adding the stock. Once the stew is ready, allow it to cool down and you can put some in the freezer. I like to make a lot of this stew because it's the kind of stew that you can pretty much use to eat anything, like rice, pasta, yam, and so much more, even as a base for jollof rice. Please don't forget to watch part 2 to see how I made the yellow coconut rice, and don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up. I'll see you in my next video. Bye now.